Welcome to the government news brief for Friday, January 15, 2016. In the news, health officials monitoring for the Zika virus, minor exploitation to push Guyana's development, and the government looking to promote collective bargaining to protect workers' rights. With these and other stories, I am Azim Khan. Health officials are monitoring for the Zika virus. There has been one confirmed case locally. Here are the details.
Persons are being urged to take all necessary precautions against mosquito bites following the discovery of the Zika virus in Guyana. The use of insect repellents and nets is being recommended by local health officials for protection against the vector-borne disease. According to Minister of Health Dr. George Norton, pregnant women have to be very careful. The disease was initially reported in Brazil in May of 2015.
In the case of Zika, what we do is is transmitted by the Aedes aegypti mosquito. Unlike dengue, chikungunya, we will have to use mosquito nets, treated mosquito nets, particularly to the pregnant mothers because of the effect it has on children. And we started the fogging exercise.
The minister added that the health ministry is monitoring the situation with daily updates from medical facilities about any suspected cases. Although Zika often causes only mild rashes and fevers, women who have had it, particularly in the first trimester of pregnancy, appear to be much more likely to have children with smaller heads and damaged brains, a condition called microcephaly. The Zika virus has been found in several Western Hemisphere countries, including Brazil, Colombia, El Salvador, French Guiana, Guatemala, Haiti, Honduras, Martinique, Mexico, Panama, Puerto Rico, Paraguay, Suriname, and Venezuela. Although Brazil has strongly advised all pregnant women to avoid getting mosquito bites, a leading health official from that country went further 2 weeks ago, suggesting that women in the hard-hit northeastern region postpone having any children at this time.
A bold vision for Guyana's development has been linked to the mining sector. However, the government has noted that the exploitation of minerals must be done in ways that are safe for the people and the environment. Here are the details.
The coalition government is moving to improve the management of the country's natural resources in an environmentally conscious and sustainable manner. This is being done to ensure that the ecosystems make a contribution to the global climate solutions for the protection of Guyanese. In its vision for the sector, significant emphasis will be placed on the investment of the requisite infrastructure.
Independence bequeaths the resources of our country as the common patrimony of all of its citizens. Guyana's natural resources need not be left idle. They can be exploited, but exploited sustainably and in an environmentally friendly manner for the benefit of all of our people.
The government some time ago voiced its dissatisfaction with the way mining is currently done in Guyana and has adopted an interagency collaborative approach to address the issue as part of the plans to regulate the sector.
The government of Guyana will not condone haphazard mining practices that put people's lives at risk. One life is one too many. Negligence is like suicide.
Minister Raphael Trotman believes that the mining industry needs to adhere to proper mining practices, which must be based on knowledge of what is in the ground. It is against this background that the role of the mining and environmental officers within the various mining districts is being reviewed to effectively execute their mandate as outlined by the laws and regulations governing the sector. With this government news brief, I am Shanta Gopadan reporting.
The Guyana Bar Association has presented its report to Prime Minister Moses Nagamutu, offering comments and suggestions of the proposed Code of Conduct for government officials and members of Parliament. The 8-page report was received yesterday at the Parliament buildings. Here's that report.
President of the Guyana Bar Association, Christopher Ram, has turned over to the Prime Minister the association's comments on the Code of Conduct for ministers and members of Parliament. The Guyana Bar Association was one of the stakeholders that was asked to offer comments and feedback on the code. The Code of Conduct is part of a menu of measures for accountability and proper conduct by members of Parliament and government officials.
Please accept on behalf of the Guyana Bar Association its comments on the subject mentioned code. The Bar Association congratulates the government of this initiative and stands ready to work with your office as it proceeds to finalize and implement the code.
The Bar Association hopes that Guyana can be one of the first countries in the region with a proper code of conduct with strong legislative teeth. Prime Minister Moses Nagamutu, in accepting the report, promised to go through it thoroughly with a view of offering his comments and suggestions to the association.
We have put out a code of service to guide officials of the government in the conduct of themselves in public life, as distinct from their private engagements. And also, we know that the Integrity Commission Act has a schedule which is called Code of Conduct, which over many years I am dismayed has in fact been honored in the breach, because no one, I believe, has ever been investigated for any violation of the code that stipulate declaration of assets and of those holding public office, as well as their spouses, as well as their children of a certain age.
The coalition government has over time committed to being scrutinized by all, as it believes that a government must be accountable to the people. The government assures that it will continue to strive to live up to its promise of transparency and accountability in all of its many functions. For this Government News Brief, I'm Shanta Goberdan reporting.
The government is looking to promote the collective bargaining process. Minister within the Ministry of Social Protection, Keith Scott, just days after taking up his new portfolio, met with trade union leaders. Here is that story.
You can't have an industrial climate that is up at its optimum and well accepted by everybody unless we do engage in collective bargaining, that we do have the respect for each other, and that atmosphere of employer and employer recognition of trade unions' right to bargain on behalf of the workers has to be at all times respected.
According to Minister Scott, government stands ready at all times to play its role in resolving issues regarding wages and salaries and to ensure better working conditions for employees.
Our role is to assist both employer and employees and the unions in arriving at amicable agreements, and because of our expertise in that area, we do stand ready at all times to play our role and more or less are the mediators between employer and employees. But collective bargaining is sacrosanct.
Minister Scott noted that government will do what is necessary in the interest of the workers. The intention is to ensure that the country's workforce is well represented and working conditions are regulated. Earlier in the week, Minister Scott met with several trade unions and other stakeholders operating in the labor sector to craft a blueprint for meaningful discussion. The unions were urged to embrace the principles of dialogue, compromise, and mutual respect. The minister will be meeting with other unions in the coming weeks as he seeks better cooperation between government and the unions with the ultimate goal of bettering the lot of workers. For the Government News Brief, Seneca Thorne reporting.
It is expected that significant investments will be made to develop the country's infrastructure. Already, steps are being taken to ensure that the aviation sector can meet the demands of a growing economy. Here are the details.
His Excellency President David Granger, in a recent address to the National Assembly and the nation, pledged his government's commitment to making necessary investments to the internal transport infrastructure, which will see, above all, significant sums being invested to transform aviation. Now that the board has been appointed to the Civil Aviation Authority, the sector is now better positioned to deliver the level of transformation that is needed.
I would like for the board to address the following. 1. Provide effective leadership and guidance to the authority. 2. Transform the GCAA into a high-performance organization. That is, one that is results-oriented and people-focused. 3. Develop a succession planning framework. 4. Establish a clear strategic direction and corporate plan for the authority. 5. Renew and develop strategic partnerships with key stakeholders for the achievement of the organization's mandate. And the last point, address the financial sustainability of the authority.
Some of the major projects planned for the aviation sector include the rehabilitation and reconstruction of airdromes and the upgrade of the Chadijagan International Airport.
And there is a tremendous opportunity available for us in the aviation sector, and I do hope with a board such as yourself, distinguished person, that you will push to ensure that happens.
An upgraded airport means that Guyana can be used as a major transshipment hub for cargo and passengers destined for northern Brazil, as this route will prove significantly cheaper compared to what currently exists.
That has brought us to the end of the government news brief for Friday, January 15, 2016. More of our programs are on Facebook and YouTube. Remember to send us your Guyana Nice photo. Here is ours.